So we'll talk a lot about that in the podcast, and although that's not a particular primary pursuit of Lewis, he is wise enough and learned enough to question some of my ideas about it and ask for clarity. And I told him that it's really important that he disagree with me when he disagrees with me. I choose my friends very carefully, and one of the things I'm careful to do when I choose a friend is to choose people who are committed to learning and understanding things. I like that in a friend. I like really strong conversations about deep subjects. I'm not very good at small talk. You won't find me at networking events talking about the weather or anything else, or family meeting. I just can't stand talking about. I'm not saying they're unimportant things. They're just not things that require a lot of intelligence, and they don't interest me, honestly. I'm not interested in small talk. I like deep conversations. And Lewis is the kind of person that I would choose as a friend, and I did choose as a friend because he takes seriously his knowledge, and he reads a lot and studies and delves deeply into things, and yet he's also the kind of person that will question somebody if he disagrees with them. And I like that about my friends. I pick friends often who will disagree with me. I like friends who have different perspectives on things like reality and life in general, and is there a God or not a God. I'd say at least half of my friends are full-on skeptic atheists. They can't even conceive of a world in which a God exists, and they see it as being almost ridiculous that somebody like me would even think there is one. And I respect them for that, because they're not lying. They've found this, and as have millions of others, to be their viewpoint of life. So there's got to be some merit to it somewhere, somehow. And as a spiritual person, I'm not intimidated by that. I'm like, let's learn from each other. Let's find out what we can learn from one another. Where do we agree? So I pick my friends on, one, do they only agree with me? That's not a good recipe for a good friend for me. Secondly, do they agree with me? And if they do, the third thing would be, how do they disagree with me? I sound like I'm super confident in what I believe, but in fact, I rethink everything I think on a regular basis. I test all of my own truths based against what I perceive to be facts, or at least people who care about facts and don't seem to be bent on destroying the ideologies of others. They just don't hold to them, and they're happy to share the reasons why. So how somebody disagrees with me is important.